to Ops Experts Club. Cool
Yay!
tool.
Cool tools.
Excited to be here today. We had a fun conversation last week with Kat. It's nice to bring her on the show.
I missed it. I didn't even watch the replay either.
It was a hard one. Like anyone that watched it, I hope that people will sit through the little bit of technical difficulties we had to watch it, because it was a really great interview, but it was a little bit tough because we did have technical difficulties. So there was a little bit of delay, and then we were kind of like robots, like trying to have our conversation. But the conversation content was wonderful. It was really good. She's awesome.
I've worked with Kat in the past and had a few meetings with her, and she's great. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody who knows their stuff inside and out, it's Kat.
Yep. Humble beginnings too. Just looking for an easy EA job. And apparently it's too easy because now she's the director of events.
Yeah, I would say that is a good fit for her. Just even sitting on some meetings with AYR and talking about events that they're working through, I'm like, holy cow, how do you keep all that in your brain?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's fun just to see people rise in their roles within the companies. Seeing the company thrive and the person thrive at the same time.
How many people have we interviewed that started out as EAs? I feel like it's just about everybody.
Or at least started from just like a low level position. Like it's just such a real thing because they know the company in and out. And then at that point, like there's like no one better suited for the higher up role because they know how everything works beneath them. So they just like have better understanding of what they need to delegate and what's going on. So
yep. Sure, it's fun. I get to see you here again this weekend. I'll be at an AYR event in Denver. Looking forward to that.
Fun.
Denver time, getting in the Mile High City.
I love Denver. If you go outside of Denver, there's a really cool town called Vail. It's a ski town. FYI, if you have a day off, it is beautiful.
Aww.
I won't go outside of Denver. I decided just to go to the museum instead.
Okay.
I'll go to the Museum of Nature and Science. That'll be fun. Help out an event. All good things.
Fun fact, my cat is from Denver. My little munchkin cat. We got him from a breeder in Denver. We drove all the way there, pick up little Walter.
Oh my God.
12 years ago.
Those some cool roots. Wow. Well, this week we have something fun to discuss. Something that everybody seems to be interested in these days, and something that's gotten a lot of regulation since COVID. People were hitting it hard. Really got regulated a lot, which is great. And that is texting, marketing, texting. And some of the regulations that happened, they got rid of short codes. So you can't really market with short codes. You can have like autoresponders and that kind of stuff with like join my list short codes. But when it comes to like full on email marketing, mass sending numbers and sending a text to a bunch of contacts, you have to get a dedicated phone number.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more laws in place with double opt-in confirmation with texting sometimes. Yep. So you can't just say you want to text, but then you have to confirm after you receive the text that you want to text with this number. So a lot of things have come up recently. It's made a lot of platforms disappear. A lot of platforms come together. New platforms have risen. A lot of regulation. A lot of people getting kicked off platforms, losing their numbers, not able to market. So like email marketing, it heavily got into spam. A lot of people get spammed. So with a lot of spam and complaints comes more restrictions. But we've got a few different texting things to share with you all today. I know we're all working in texting with all the clients we are working with. It's something people ask about. They're like, I want to text. People don't listen to emails. They want to text. So let's send them a text.
The open rate for texting is insane because it's so easy because everyone's already on their phone all the time. So it's like, yeah.
I feel like also too, like everybody got spent, like everybody has like a separate spam email, because you just know the second you put your email somewhere, you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm nonstop. Which is funny because I feel like that's why texting is so big, because nobody reads their emails anymore, and pretty soon nobody's gonna read their texts anymore. So what's the next thing? Back to
Everyone's
phone
gonna get
calls,
Google Voice or something and like start doing like a junk phone number or something.
right?
Oh yeah, I could do that. Gosh, I forgot where I was going with that.
One thing I would
alright.
say about the extra compliance thing though, like I think that it's people are looking at it right now from like, oh, it's a pain in the butt and we have to sign up all this extra things and it's tougher for the business. But if you think about it, like sending texts to people is kind of expensive. And so you don't want people on your list that don't want to be on your list. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, I mean, not only do you not want to be reported, of course, you don't want to be reported, but like on top of that, like you don't want to pay to someone a text message if they're just gonna, if they're not actually interested in getting it and they just signed up to get whatever freebie and, whatever, like it works out for everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. The cost of texting, definitely not comparable to emails. Emails, they don't charge you per email to send. You can send as many as you want. It's not a cost. Texting though, you can really get up there. You can be looking at sending a big text to your list, $200. So you're doing that 4 times a month. That's $800 to send text messages. And like Savannah said, it's, the regulation helps. It's not just for the consumer, it's for us as a business. We don't want to be texting dead numbers. Like that's just a waste. If you have a number, so what? Are they opening your stuff? Then it doesn't even matter. Do they want to be on your list? And it doesn't even matter. You really only want numbers that want to receive stuff from you. So it works both ways. It helps us, target better. It helps people want to be targeted better. So you can go both ways with it.
Yep. And it's not like email where it's as easy to see your open rate and your click rate. Like you can grab those statistics really easy within your CRM. Not a lot of CRMs can see if your text has been opened. So again, like you don't know if you're texting to dead numbers or not. So it's still really good to be able to weed those out by getting that double opt-in, because you're like, I hope the $200 I just spent was worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show you guys a tool. This tool has been around for a long time, believe it or not. It survived. It has changed names, or it's eaten up other companies, or maybe a little bit of both. It's one I got signed up with my very first client working with the cloud team, Keith Yackey, which we all still work with, love, and appreciate Mr. Yackey. And he was doing events and webinars and all that stuff. And he's like, I just want to spit out a string of numbers and say, text Keith to this number, and then we'll go from there. And it's like, okay. So like back then it was really easy. It's called easy texting. You could sign up, you can get a short code for like $5. And it can be just like 555444. Like you can see what's available and just pick it. And of course, they have vanity short codes people sell online. So you can be like 444444. People will sell those online. And it was easy. And then you just have a keyword. And based on that keyword would trigger responses, or based on the short code would trigger responses. And the response is just like, hey, text Keith to this number. And then they get an auto response, which is usually to the landing page.
I remember that. Wait, yeah, no one's doing that anymore. Is that because of all the compliance stuff?
That just hit me too. I'm trying to think. I haven't gotten a marketing text from a 55555, and yeah, it's been years now. I never even
And just the like
that.
text, win to blah 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 blah, and there you go, and now you're in. And I haven't seen that for like at least a year.
Yep. Yeah, it's rare. I'll show you one example of one that still exists. But yeah, it was great. You're just on stage, you're just like, hey, da 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 da. And then you get, like 200 responses, and you can integrate it to CRM. You can get phone numbers. You can get them to the landing page. The landing page is going to get emails. You get them a free gift to insert their email, and voila, you've got all your leads from your event you just spoke at, or your commercial, or your ad, or whatever it was these were on. I'm just going to show you guys here what I am talking about. Easy texting. all-in-one text marketing solution. So I do remember when things changed and they were sending out notices like, hey, we're getting rid of our short codes. You need to get a dedicated long code. You know, you need to pick a phone number. It's going to cost this much a month. Oh yeah, it's definitely changed over the 8 years.
So funny.
But let's look at some prices. $20 a month, up to 500 contacts, max speed up to 500, daily message limit at max speed. So 500 per day. Cost per message, 500 included, but then 0.027 cents after that. So
Okay.
you're sending 20,000 texts. Let's say you have 20,000 list. 0.027. You're gonna have $540. Wait, no, I did my math wrong.
I was like, that's a lot. Holy cow.
Yeah, 0.027 times 20,000. Yeah, $540.
Wow.
Yeah. And it goes down. Obviously, you spend more per month, you get less per text. I mean, obviously, 1 cent a text is pretty great, because then you're just down to $200 a month.
Yeah, and you're only paying $3,000 a month for that, though.
Yeah.
No big deal.
But you see, this one has the dedicated short code.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the short codes are getting rare,
Interesting.
but it's got a pretty easy interface. It's got, you know, your compliance, your marketing, whatever you need to do with it. It's got your saved lists, your keywords. It's still got the same stuff, but just different now. But I will show you one here, one that's still around. It is called Join by Text. This one's great. It will capture email addresses for you. It still uses a short code. And how it works, you just pick a keyword, text it to my short code, and then it says, and then you create like a follow-up message, which is geared around getting an email address, because then it will integrate into your CRM, insert that email address into whatever follow-up sequence you want. So instead of having to send them to a landing page, send them somewhere else, redirect, get it there, redirect, you know, it's just like into your email here, and then it reads the email, sends it to your CRM, and then you can just put them in your opt-in sequence. Be like, here's your free gift, da da da. So it's pretty cool. Same concept, great for speakers. You know, it's where we used it with John Acuff. He uses one. It's just real simple. Text this keyword to this number into your email address. We're capturing it as you enter it, and we send you your free gift.
Yep. Super
Simple interface, though. Check this out. 2 spots: responses, which is your keyword, your integration. If you don't have one, you can use Zapier. Your welcome response, and then your thank you response. So this is where you ask for the ask, which, you know, we're not asking for email addresses here. We are just sending them to a landing page, but you would just say, give me an email address. Enter your email address, say thank you. Keywords. This is the other tab.
Wow.
That's it.
Super simple. And it looks like you can download the emails right there.
Yeah. So you can get a list of downloads of responses. So you don't even need to integrate it, but it's great.
It's super simple.
Like it's you know, what was the price? $19 a month, 500 email addresses a month. Not bad.
So great for if all you're wanting to do is just capture emails. Obviously you can't, it's not like you can send out marketing texts, but if you're just looking to capture contacts, this is pretty easy.
Great for an email or for a speaker, a podcast, anytime you just verbally want to, you know, ask and want an easy way to capture that without sending people to another landing page if they don't want to go somewhere else.
Nice.
I like that one. Well, Savannah, I heard you got something for us.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about the fancy limousine of the texting services. I don't have a free trial in there because they don't do that because they're fancy. So we're just going to be going through their website and just kind of going through their features. So I will preface with saying they aren't super forward with their pricing either. But I know from a client that is currently using them that even for them just to send, they have an email list of, or they have a contact list of about 25,000 people that have opted in. And even just to send a simple text message to their top 20% of their contacts, it costs them several $100s to send out one message.
Ouch.
And you have a limited amount of characters that you can use. And if you accidentally go over those characters, it'll split it into 2 text messages and then you get to pay twice. So from what I could find, it starts out at about $99 a month for up to 1,000 contacts. And then they charge you more from there. So that's a pretty small list, 1,000. So like that's like, I think when we're looking at easy texting, that's like double. It's half the amount of contacts for that price to start out with versus easy texting. Because I think that's like, it was like 2,000 to 5,000 or something like that in that price bracket. So just some context there.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's really nice. So they have an iOS app, they have a web app. You can message people from right within there. You can send fancy GIFs and messages and voice messages. You can filter things. You can set up campaigns. This is the main thing that my client is currently using it for is birthdays. So as soon as you open up the app, it has this cute little thing that's just like, you have this many people that have birthdays today, and you can just click on it and then send them all a happy birthday text, and it just like does it. So everyone feels like super loved and a part of your community, and super easygoing. And then you can set things up by demographic. So you can get really segmented with who you're texting to within there without having to dig into your CRM. Like it's a CRM and texting service, like all in one thing. So, I mean, it's pretty schmancy. You can do abandoned cart sequence. You can talk to them by their first name. And this is the other part that they use is the most active members. So you can like segment who you're contacting if you have a new offer or whatever by who are basically your best, most interactive folks.
That's nice.
Nice.
It's pretty darn cool. And then also you can get how we're talking about analytics. It's kind of hard within your CRM to see who's opening and like track your clicks and everything. So you can track how many of your messages are getting opened, just like you would with your eBlast list. You can track your click-throughs to your Shopify account. So you can see literally how many sales you're making from your text message campaigns. So you can compare how it's doing compared to your emails. They also have a whole thing where they're talking about compliance, just so you can make sure like that you see how it works with the, just responding with stop, doing your double opt-in. They have that all set up for you. Integrations, it does natively integrate with a couple of CRMs, but not a ton. But I did look at Zapier, and so you can set it up, with whatever my client specifically uses Ontraport, and we use Ontraport, so that was the one that I looked at in Zapier. But like if someone buys something, you can immediately send a text message to them that's like, "Congratulations, thanks for buying your thing. Here's your link to your login page," or something like that. So pretty schmancy. And then, like I said, it has an iOS app. So this is what it looks like. And this is the tough part with my client, because we are trying to move away from community because it is so expensive for their company, but you don't have to be a tech genius to use it. And that is really nice. And so the person that is currently handling their texting is not tech savvy, but they're not the most tech savvy. So they just have the iOS app. It's like, hey, I got to send the birthday messages today. They open up the app. It's literally at the top. They can just click it, send all the birthday messages for the day, and then they're done. Like,
I get the price point now.
Yeah. It's really nice. And then it even actually has AI built in that, like, if people are responding to your text messages, it will automatically sort out those messages for you into groupings, where it's like, if you want it to be grouped by like people that are just saying thanks or whatever. So that way you can just kind of like mass like check off and not respond to things, or you know what I mean? Like you can send group responses. It's just like, I get it. It just is like prohibitively expensive for most small businesses.
Interesting.
And I think you mentioned it's very celebrity focused, right?
Yeah, if you look at most of their like examples, their use case examples within their site, it's like people are telling everyone that their new movie is out, or celebrities that are like doing personalized messages to promote their next project. Like it's very much like A-class celebrity folks that obviously have crazy budgets for marketing and production and all those kind of things that
Yep.
it kind of makes sense that they're using it. So
Interesting.
yeah, like McDonald's and Universal and HBO, like these are the people that are affording Community. So,
Funny.
but
Yeah, we
it's,
filtered a few different people through it. Johnny Cuff used it for a bit. Pedro Deo tried it out for a bit. It's not for everybody, but it's got a lot of great features.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
yeah, you can totally see why someone would see it and be like, yes, I want to implement that for my business immediately. And then you send out a text message over something that doesn't really convert very high or something like that. And it's like, oh, yes, we are bleeding.
But if you are on Shopify and you said you can track Shopify results, then at least you can get a return on your tech spend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hopefully.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like,
sure you
okay,
have,
you
like-
dropped a new product, 1,000 people clicked the link, 50 people purchased, it was a $10 product, we got $500. Was that worth it? Maybe.
I feel like if you have like a really solid marketing team in place at the same time, then I could see it like working itself out, ROI. But I feel like if you're a small business owner and you're just kind of like figuring it out and you're just trying to reach your people, then it's probably not the right solution yet.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Ben, you've got one that's kind of turned into the silent sneaky app, haven't you?
Yes, I am talking about Twilio. And the funny thing about Twilio is I'm sure there's a lot of people that use it that probably don't realize it, because Twilio is basically like the phone number for every CRM out there. Like if you use Infusionsoft or Entreport or Monday and you use any of their like native SMS texting, it all actually just uses Twilio. You just don't know it. Most of the time, if you're paying attention, they do have you set up a Twilio account, or you have to connect an API. But like, and the way that it works is it's different than the first two. This is like basically like your foundation for being able to text. You can text out of Twilio. It's extremely not user friendly. It's like the exact opposite of Community. The whole point of Twilio is basically to connect to your current platform so you can message from your platform. Like say an Entreport, which I would recommend, the client you're working with, Savannah, since they're using Entreport, switch it over to Twilio and you can just text straight from Entreport instead of having to zap to a Community and then do that.
And I did confirm this morning that Entreport does have an app that you can just log into your Entreport account. We on our Entreport we don't use texting yet. And so I can't test out the use case, but I can send emails to contacts from within the app. So that is something that could get Community like if I can figure out how to integrate things the way that I want to.
Yeah. When it comes to the pricing, and actually Twilio does a lot more than just SMS too. Like you can do WhatsApp, you can do Facebook Messenger, you can do SMS, obviously MMS, all of those things. Basically, just about any messaging. I think except Instagram, it doesn't connect via that. But it has the capability to basically send out a message anywhere. And the pricing is extremely affordable compared to, like, say, a Community. I mean, you're looking at like 0.7 of a penny per SMS that you're sending out. Now, your platform, like say an Entreport or an Infusionsoft, will probably add on top of that. I know with Entreport, they'll add, I think, a penny on top of Twilio. So you're paying like 1.007 cents per text, depending on if you're going from Entreport. But Twilio in itself is super cheap because it's basically your foundation platform. And of course, you get like if you're sending out a ton of messages, say above 1 million messages, then you're looking at 0.0066 of a penny for that much. But it's still, I mean, it's still, you're going from like almost 8/10 of a penny to almost 7/10 of a penny. It's still really, really, really affordable. Once you get into it, the reason why I say it's not user friendly at all is there's not much you're doing in here. Like you can physically send a single text message to a person, which you would not want to do if you're working with a list. What you're going to do is say, if you're working inside Infusionsoft or Ontoport, is you're going to give those platforms, if they don't already have your authentication tokens, your API, and then it's just pumping text messages out of your platform, which is nice because then you could set up a campaign within your CRM that says if somebody opts in, send a text message, Twilio pumps it out, and you don't really have to touch Twilio ever again. You just connect it and you're good to go, outside of paying. Same thing with Monday. Monday actually makes it quite a bit easier. They've got a real native integration for it. So it's a couple plugins. You enter in your two-factor authentication, you drop in your Twilio code, and your same thing with Monday. So you can set up your automations within Monday to start sending texts out for whatever reason you might want. So it's kind of like it's an add-on for your account, but you don't have to do anything inside Twilio. You can just live in your CRM and let Twilio do everything for you, in the back of your head. But it's great. Like I said, most often people are using Twilio. If they haven't set it up themselves, they don't even realize that it's Twilio doing the work for their CRM in the background. I would recommend anybody who wants to use it, have somebody, on their tech team set it up for them, because it's not easy like a community is. They don't have an app. You can't just send it straight from your phone. You have to have somebody who at least knows what an API code is to go in and set it up. But once it is set up, it's like out of sight, out of mind. You're just paying, a minimal amount per, I think they charge every 24 hours for text messages that you send. So
Well, and there's something to be said for the automations too, and doing campaigns in your CRM. Like, sure, maybe you don't have like the big old birthday button like you do on Community, but you could probably set up an automation in your CRM that recognizes people's birthdays. And it's like, if it hits that it's their birthday, send a message to them that day, and everyone gets the same birthday message. And then that's already done. And then you just get the bill for it later, but then you're not paying staff time to do it. So I was ready to write off Twilio, but now I feel like I got to start digging back into Twilio and be thinking about it, because now I might be able to just tell them to do automations instead of, then it doesn't matter if your person's not tech savvy because your tech person's already handled it for you. So
yeah, and that's the nice thing is once you set it up, it's not like you have to learn a new platform. Like you're just working with the automations in your CRM that you're already used to, that your team's already trained on. It's just now you're like, oh, wait, we can send text along with this. I can schedule an email and schedule a text to go right behind it, schedule another email and schedule a text to go right behind it. It works inside your CRM. So you're not having to teach your team a whole new thing, get everybody on board with a whole new thing, and
remember stuff.
Yeah. Logins, all that stuff. It's just, you work inside what you know.
Yeah. That's something to think about, because everyone, if you're doing a business, you got to have a CRM. So if you're in your CRM anyway,
yeah,
and Twilio is fun. It's great. We have been hit before with the Twilio compliance police, and they will come after you though, because they are API. They don't have the same stuff like a Community or an Easy Texting would, where it's all like all this required compliance regulation. They're more of just like building it, and then you're responsible for complying with it. Yep. And so if your account starts to go in the red, they'll be like, okay, you need to send us all this documentation. Where are you getting leads? What's the expectation being set at opt-in, all this stuff. So they will come after you if you use it incorrectly.
Yeah, and at the very least, hopefully you're like, for Ontoport, for example, I know Ontoport has a forced double opt-in. So you can add that contact, say I have somebody's name, email, and phone number. I can add them to my contact list, but they still have to physically opt in with an opt-in form with their phone number before I can even ever send them a text messages. So that's nice. Hopefully your CRM has something like that built in, so you don't, just start spamming text messages and get yourself in the red like that. But yeah, that would be something to really keep an eye on.
Good to know.
Well, thanks for sharing, Ben. You know, like you said, if you haven't heard of Twilio, you might be using it and not realize it.
Exactly.
So this was fun, hearing about all the different texting stuff out there. And if you're an operations nerd like us and you're curious about more texting, you want help with your texting stuff, let us know if you got any questions. We've used a lot of apps together collectively and individually. So, you know, it's yours to pick which one's right for you. They all do different things, like we always say. Not one is most recommended. They're all different. So just pick whatever's right for you.
Yep.
So thanks, Ben and Savannah, for sharing, and I'll see you guys again in the future.
All right.
See ya.
That's a wrap.
Bye.